My name is Ocean Gross, and I now work on private equity deals. I've done tens of millions of dollars online, and in this video, I'm going to show you the exact trap that I see that keeps people stuck at seven figures. It's this invisible hand that most people don't know about. I want to show you how to find that and how to overcome that. So in this video, let's talk about the seven-figure trap that I see most people get stuck at. And this is mostly when you're around that seven-figure mark and you're saying, hey, how do I go to that next level? What is that next level? Sometimes what they have is not necessarily a skill deficiency in what they're selling, in what their business is or how they're doing it. Their real deficiency comes down to the market size. Now, market opportunity can be found by this simple equation, which is lifetime value, or LTV, times number of potential units sold. Now, when I see the seven-figure trap, it's mostly with local businesses. It's less so with online businesses. Now, my experience is largely in the online space, but let's just say that you have a local business. Now, if you are selling something in a local business, you cannot expect to have 100% market saturation. That just means that you're going to be 100% of the units sold. So let's say that you sell milk in your local area. The chances of you selling every single bottle of milk that is sold in that area are very low. Now, conservatively, you can assume that you can probably get somewhere around a 5% market penetration in that area before you move into a new area. So I'll give you an example. There was one of my mentors who had ended up selling his company for hundreds of millions of dollars, multiple hundreds of millions of dollars. He had told me that every single time that they went into a new area, when they had 5% market saturation, they sold home services. When they had 5% market saturation, they would move into a new area, and that's how they knew it was time for them to expand. So let's say that you sell something that is $10,000. And that thing that you sell for $10,000, you sell that 100 times, that's going to be your $1 million mark. Now, what if there are only, you can only sell 50 of them in your local area? Well, that means that you're going to be capped automatically at 500,000 in your local area. So the way that they expand is by going into new markets. This is the same thing that Starbucks has done. And that's why they have Starbucks is literally, there are sometimes you'll have two corners of the same area with two different Starbuckses on it. Whatever reason that may actually be. I don't know if their total TAM is saturated. I don't think it is, but there are there's coffee sold every single day. They sell caffeine, which is a drug. So they technically sell drugs. Good business to be in for them. But let's say that you have now capped out your area. The way that you do this, you can just look it up. What is the total addressable market TAM of my whatever this is, whatever insert thing that you sell, and where you sell it. Let's say that you sell this $10,000 thing, and the maximum number of units is 100 units in your local area that you could possibly sell. That's 5% market penetration. Then you can consider moving into other markets, because if you continue to spend, what will happen is your ad costs will blow out. And so what that means is if we have ad costs over here, as you start to spend more, your ad costs start to just rise. And so you don't really know what's going on once you continue to spend more on paid ads. And so the ideal is to continue to spend more and more and then have that ad cost blow out later and later. Let's just say this bottom axis is the amount of money that you're spending per time. And this is cost per lead, CPL. So as you grow and expand the market, the more that you have more latitude, more ability to spend more money and make more of the total market. And so this is where, let's say that you are selling something that you now have multiple locations. You should ideally, if let's say you have two locations that are exact same size, you should just be able to duplicate what's working over here and do the same thing over there. And this is how most companies are able to go from seven figures, kind of where that maybe low seven figures to where they're at, to 10 million. Now, there are a couple things that I see that break. Mostly it comes around to delegation as well as not understanding their unit economics. Because at the end of the day, figuring out how many potential units you can sell as well as the lifetime value of that thing, which is the total addressable market, means that your TAM, your total addressable market, may be limited with what you sell. So there's two different ways that you can expand. Now, I talked about opening up multiple locations, or you can go up market or down market, and there's different ways to do that. So let's say that you sell, in this case, you sell a biz op, which just means that you have the ability to sell someone who already has a business and grow their existing business. So that'd be an example of a biz op. Going down market would be, I'm going to go from, instead of selling people who already have an existing business, I'm going to sell people who can open up a new business, which then greatly expands your total addressable market, or TAM. Upmarket would be if you already have an establishing business, we teach you how to open up multiple locations. That'd be an example if you have that info product. You can also go horizontal scaling. That means you're going to offer a complementary services. So let's say that you offer that business in a box, that business opportunity of scaling someone's company, then you can offer complementary services. So let's say we also help place your bookkeeper in place. We help hire the right people. That's an example of how you can scale horizontally with one business model, even if you have a limited TAM. The way that I like searching up TAM, Grok or Claude are usually some of the best ways as of right now. Obviously, LLMs are changing so fast, but those are my two favorite LLMs. And I'll just search up, this is the product or service, this is the area that I serve it in, what is my potential total addressable market? And then from there, I'll readjust and figure out, okay, how many locations do I need to have in order to reach the 8-figure mark, which is our, like, everything we strive to is like, how do we do a minimum of 10 million? Obviously, it's way higher than that, but usually that's the bump from the 7 to 8-figure range. That's where most people fall in the valley of death. They don't really know how to scale past that 8 figures. So those are the two ways that I see that you can expand it. Now, very rarely do I think that going down market is a good idea, as well as necessarily selling horizontal services, unless it's something like a affiliate product. So let's say that you work with these local businesses, but then you also sell a CRM and then you get affiliate commissions off of that. That's one of the better ways that you can do that, because you don't have to go start a CRM tomorrow. You don't have to go start a software company. You're just having an affiliate with something they're already going to use. Or let's say that you have an affiliate with a placement agency. You could do that as well, which is just hiring, recruiting. Then you can say, all right, I'm going to refer you to someone who can come in and help provide value. And so this expands the amount of money that you can take into your total addressable market. Now, ideally, the arbitrage is you know more than your customer, which just means you know more about the money. So in our milk example, if you sell milk, well, if I go to the store and buy milk, well, that's really saving me not having to go learn how to milk a cow, how to take care of a cow, and the land to take care of a cow. I don't have to do all that stuff because that person already knows that. And so in this example, if you know what happens before and after your customer, which is you should be obsessed with knowing your customer. If you understand what happens before and after you enter in and provide your product or service for the customer, you can expand the time, the surface area that you have with that customer. So that's what it means to scale scale horizontally with other services that are not necessarily your own, and expand your TAM even without having to sell more potential units. Now, you're selling more potential units of someone else, but in this case, it's just it still is technically more potential units. So that is how I find TAM. That's how I think about scaling from that 7 to 8 figures. That's kind of the range. But this is how really to solve that cap and avoiding the 7-figure trap that most people get stopped at. It's not necessarily your operator ability. It's not necessarily your location. It mostly comes around to it can come around to the invisible hand of the market, where you just may not physically be able to sell anymore. So you can expand it by doing that.